everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Truth Tuesday Show with your host, Dr. Bell, here on Hindsight Radio, the information station changing the nation. I hope everybody's doing well out there. A lot of stuff's going on lately. The circus of the United States is continuing to manifest itself. Everybody wants Biden to win. Well, there's a lot of people that want him to win. Some people want Trump to win. They were celebrating in the street. And I did a video earlier. Now, I don't understand how people of color is out there celebrating anything when it comes to this government. But we get treated the worst out of everybody, but we celebrating that some guy, some Caucasian guy, European descent, is going to get in there and do something for us when they haven't done anything for us in the past. I don't get it. I mean, I saw more of us out there celebrating than I've seen anybody else. I'm like, really? What do we celebrate now? Our failure? Being last in place in the economic world? Is that what we're celebrating? What it shows you, the mindsets of people is just not. Their mind is on things that have nothing to do with their success, personally or with their own family. That's what their mind is on. They're worried about who's going to. Oh, Trump is this, Trump is that. You mean to tell me this country? Beth shared a video with a guy talking about we're trying to blame all the problems on one man that was already here before he even became president. His ideologies, the way he acted in office, just made it more. People were more comfortable with displaying their racism and their hatred because he was president. That's all it did. It exposed what was already there. Just, people just was more blatant with it. We got to work on that. And like I said in my video earlier, I'm probably going to play that video, at the end of the show that I did. Because I went over nationality. That's the topic of today, correcting nationality, how important that is to do. Because especially now, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next, with the next, presidency or administration. We don't know what they're going to do. All I heard Biden talking about was wearing masks at least 10 times in the speech. He said, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. He kept saying it over. He kept repeating it. Like he was trying to program you to accept that. So that's what he's talking about, which if you're a logical thinker, that don't even make sense because the numbers were lower when they weren't wearing a mask, when they weren't forcing people to wear a mask. Now they're telling people to wear a mask, and everybody's wearing them on planes everywhere, and the numbers are going through the roof. They're blaming it on the winter, but it hasn't been cold. It's still close to 80 degrees here in North Carolina, but the numbers are going through the roof. What happened? We haven't had any cold days here. We had some, chilly days, but, really cold? No. Lowest has been probably about 40, 50, but lately it's been close to 80, but the numbers are still going to see. It just shows you that they're just saying things, and most of your facts that you call facts are coming from mainstream media telling you what to think. And people take that as facts and run with it. But if you got your mind healthy, you don't have to worry about any of that. If you're just worrying about the prosperity of your family, you don't have to worry about any of those things. That's their problem. And what the Bible says, be in the world but not of it. That means not to have the same mindset as the rest of the world. Don't be a sheep. Don't have the herd mentality. And that's what's going on. People don't have anything going on for themselves. So the only thing they can do is look to what everybody else is doing and run with that. Hold on a second. I'm getting my grandson. He's making all this noise coming down the steps. But anyway, Um, that's right. Keep your mind on your own prosperity, your own business. Um, Shouts out to all the people that are starting their business. A lot of people started their business, men and women that I know. They're sending me their websites, um, in introducing their products to me. That's good. That during this hard time, people are thinking about uh, moving forward with opening their own business, excelling in prosperity. That's a good thing, and they're going to be successful if they stay with it every day, advertising it, telling people about it. You know, one thing about business is people who you think is not going to buy will buy, and who you think will buy, who won't buy will buy, and who you think will buy won't buy. So that means you got to talk to everybody about your business. You know, I can tell you right now who won't buy: your family, people that's closest to you. They're the least likely to do business with you. But they'll be the ones asking, "Oh, how's your business going? How's everything doing?" But it'll never cross their mind. Well, let me help them, move them forward, and promote. At least promote it. You know, I've had several businesses, and it was always the closest people who never really even thought about advertising my business for me, or helping me do it. I'm talking about mates, people I was sleeping right next to. Never even thought of it. That didn't even crossed their mind. Oh, you're doing that. It's like you're not even on the same team. And I that always confused me. Like, why they don't want to promote it? They don't believe in what I'm doing. Is it by promoting my business that's going to help them? Won't it? No. I think somewhere inside that's a form of jealousy. I don't think it's like a direct jealousy. I think it's just we are trained to not work with each other by this system. We have bought into the programming that we don't look to each other for, as a business. What do you call them? Like we don't look to each other like we're competent to do business with each other. And I've even found myself saying things crazy like, "Man, our people just tough," and it is tough. It is true, but we gotta not look at those negative and think positive. Recently I've had experience doing business with our people, and it wasn't a great experience. But still, we got to push through that because our great people do want to do good business. You just what it is that tells me that I have to not assume that everyone is going to be bad or think like that, because that's what I'm going to draw to me, right? And so when I'm thinking positive, hey, we do great business as a people. That's going to bring me to good people, because if I'm talking about we attract what we think, so if I get a person that looks like me, have my complexion, and he's doing bad, that means somewhere in my subconscious I thought or expected that. I got to accept that. I got to be real about that. But at the same time, I've had my barbershops, and the people that used to come to my shop to actually pay me. I can't even remember who paid me. I think I've had a barbershop from 1997 until this 2020 to 2018. I sold my shop. I've had two shops, and literally, people in my family, outside of my immediate family, who came to support me, once, no, twice. My uncle just passed. He came, but he lived in Augusta, so I can't expect him to come down, South Carolina, Columbia, to the haircut. But when he came, I cut his hair a couple of times, and there was a relative that lived in the area came once. And they would call, and they were the type of relative, they would text you, "Hey, you busy? Not I may not be busy now, but by the time you get here, I'll be busy. I don't know. Right now, I'm not. Then they'll call again. You still busy and never show up. That's the type of stuff that's going on. But what I'm saying, if you have a business, you keep promoting. Don't care about. Don't let the distractions of your family who don't support you keep you from moving forward. And don't even try to force it on them. They don't want to do business. Don't let them do. Don't say anything. Just keep making. One day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be super successful, and they're gonna be asking you how you did it, and your answer is gonna be, I just kept pushing, regardless of people that didn't want to do business with me. I just kept looking for the person that would do business with me. That's all I was looking for. I got through all of the no's to get to the one yes. And that's what business is all about. You get more no's than you do get yes. Normally people, I can track the analytics of my website and see what page a person is on, where they're at. So on my page, on average, probably 100 people go to that page a day, and maybe 3 people will buy something. Maybe. Some days they don't buy something. You see? But the good days outweigh the ones that are bad days. That's why it's always better to be in business for yourself, because you might get a couple of days that don't look good, but don't pay attention to that, because then you're going to get a day that makes up for the days that you don't do good. But the fact that the thing is, you have to keep your business in your consciousness. Okay, what do I do? Okay, if I'm not doing anything, I need to keep pushing. I keep advertising, talking about it. So if you're not talking about your business, nobody's thinking about your business. If you're not thinking about your business, no one else is thinking about your business. You can't, there's no time to rest. I got people who send me website, oh, look at my website, this and that. But what I don't, that's great, you got a website, but I should be seeing some advertisements too. Some promotions. How are you getting it out there? If you're not getting the idea is not just to put up a website, but the idea that website needs to be making some money. Like I told y'all before, my website before, I didn't really have a website. I had a store set up, and I was making money. I didn't have all these fancy things up on the website. Now I see fancy websites making no money at all. You see, you spend too much time on the wrong thing. And I tell people that. Stop worrying about how perfect that website is. And have it out there. Oh, I needed to look at this. Looking at an image, worrying about what people think more than what they're going to buy. People are looking for a product, and they're looking for something. And people don't buy from you because they like the product so much. People buy because they like you and how you came across. When I would go to door, I used to be door to door selling cable, satellite, and all of that. People didn't buy it. They can buy it. They have so many places they can buy cable from. They can call in and get it, go on the internet and get it. So what makes me stand out that they're going to buy it from me directly at their door? So I have to build rapport and become friends with them people to a degree. Some of y'all are just not friendly enough. Now y'all friendly when it comes to going out to a party, social gathering, you're real friendly. But when it comes to your business, you're not friendly. You got to know how to be business friendly. You really, if you want to be successful in your business, every thought in your mind, no matter where you are, where you at, whether you're on vacation, whatever, you need to be thinking about your business. There's no such thing as going on vacation. Oh, I'm on vacation. I ain't thinking about that. Nah, that's what broke people think. That's how they think. Now, my business on hold while I'm on. But no, you need to still be making money. And I rest assured, all of the people that's got the millions and all of that stuff, they're thinking about their business on vacation. Now, they might delegate responsibilities over to someone else to run it, but they are checking their money, their bank accounts, to make sure that they're making that money. I know I keep talking about business and money. I'm talking like this. I want to program y'all the opposite way this system is programmed. This system programmed y'all to accept a paycheck, accept someone telling you what your salary is going to be and what your hours are going to be, what vacation you're going to take. This is what this system is about. It's not about you succeeding in your own business. So why in the hell are you worried about a president? Really? The only thing that concerns me with this presidency is the ramifications for this whole election. Trump not accepting what I wouldn't even say he lost. We could see there was some shady things going on. Just this whole him fighting back to count the votes, what it's going to do to the mental of the people that support either side. That's the only thing that concerns me. Is it going to send us into a civil war? And it's not really a concern. What it is I'm thinking about it and preparing. What would I do if we do have a civil war? Am I going to sit around here and watch it? Or I'm going to get the hell out of here for a few months and chill? Because that's actually what I'm thinking about. We were just talking about, you want to go somewhere for a couple of months and chill, pay your rent somewhere, rent a house in another country till this all plays itself out, Because when the stuff hits the fan, it's gonna be hard to get out the country. Now you're a refugee. I don't want to leave under the guise of being a refugee. I want to leave when it's all normal, then sit back and then when things jump the fan, I want to be sitting across the water looking at the smoke, the fire. And I don't usually think like that. I just think, and I'm not thinking of being afraid. I'm just thinking of being prepared. Because, there's some real ramification. This has been a interesting, abnormal year. And we got less than a couple of months left. I just really feel like 2020 is going to go out with a bang, literally. Really. And, and it's not time to. It's time. You want to think positive. You want to stay strong in your thoughts, but it's not going to affect my household. Why it's not going to affect my household? Because I'm going to be prepared. All those crazy Trump supporters feeling like they got cheated. What do you think they're thinking about? What they planning? Yes, thinking positive is great when it comes to your personal space and what you bringing in money, but you also got to be thinking logically, because not everybody has a healthy thinking pattern. There's people out there that really want to go to war, to shed blood, right? So you just got to be mindful. So all of that running in the streets, cheering on Joe Biden. What? For what? Joe Biden did nothing for nobody, not for our community, for 47 years. So what makes you think he's going to do something for you now or the next 4? He doesn't give a damn about you. And none of them really give a damn about you. They're not thinking about you personally when it comes to these positions. They're thinking about any decision I make, how is it going to affect my children, my family? Isn't that normal? I think like that, right? I'm thinking about what's going to happen to my family. I can have empathy for people's position, but I really care mostly about myself. So when you really be honest with yourself, now he's in a position where, they can make decisions, supposed to be making decisions for the country, people of color. They're thinking about people that look like them and making it better for them, a better place for them. They've always done it, and they will continue to do that. Why? They designed to do that. That's their job. So stop expecting anything different or wanting anything different. Participating in your own abuse. That's what people are doing. They participate. Yay, we got him out of there. Like, Trump gone. And really, you know what the real celebration is about? If you really want to look deep into it, The real celebration is when you look at Biden, people don't see him as a person with a lot of money because he hasn't been, represented that way. He's just a politician, right? But he's got money. Trump represents a legacy of money. Trump casinos, hotels, rental buildings, construction companies, all of that. He represents money. And really symbolically, deep down inside, the people that are protesting against him are people who hate wealth. If you really want to look at the psychology behind it. Now, some people, oh yeah, that's Trump because he said something about grabbing pussies and stuff like that, right? Right? Come on. If we sit in there and think about it, I've been in barbershops and had many conversations where guys brag about their sexual conquest. That's nothing different than any other man has had a conversation about. That's really nothing. That's like, that's men talk crazy when they're amongst each other, and a lot of them be telling lies about their sexual conquest. That could be a lie he's talking about, right? That's what they wanted to hone in on. And you can't tell me Barack, Biden, and any other man has not had a conversation or been in a room with men who had conversations just like that. It might not have said exactly that, but, I've heard, guys talk about how much sex they had with a woman, where they had it, and what they did, and they were going into all of these details. Yeah. Men, young men especially, tend to lie on their sexual conquest or embellish. And that's how I saw that situation. But really, the psychological issue is, are you a person that hates wealth? And if you're a person who is always condemning the wealthy, you will never be wealthy, ever. They were getting in on Lil Wayne because he was supporting Trump, right? Like, I don't really value Lil Wayne's opinion, because on certain topics. But I will say this about it. He knows something because his bank account is definitely larger than mine, right? So he made some moves that put him in a position to have the wealth that he can to give his family a comfortable. End of the day, what matters? What really matters? Are you a man? I'm speaking to men because I'm a man, and let the women talk to the women. Are you a man who is providing a comfortable lifestyle for your family? And if you are not in that position, if you are struggling, if you are having issues with doing that, then you don't have time to think about Trump or Biden. You don't. You need to be thinking and focusing on what can you do to make your lifestyle for your family now and for generations to come. Because that's what I'm concerned with. Trying to break general broke curses that I got, inherited, or mentalities that I inherited from my family from generations. Because that's what we've been passing down as a people. We've been passing down generational broke ideas, generational broke methods. And one of the biggest methods we've been passing down is church. You might accuse me of always going down on the church. Yes, I am. I am getting in on the church because they're the number one culprits for teaching y'all how to be broke, teaching y'all to accept slavery, teaching y'all how to accept the idea that you're a sinner, that you are you're nothing less than you're less than what God created you to be. Telling you are not God when the Bible says you are. And I know some people still cringe at the idea of even saying that I am God, or even think twice when they're in front of people saying and being able to speak boldly about saying I am God. I know people who claim to be prophets and prophetesses and they know so much about the Bible. When I confront them with that scripture, they back off. Why? And when I look deep into these people's consciousness, they all suffer for one thing. Low self-esteem spiritually. Spiritual low self-esteem. That's what that is. If you really want to reach the higher levels of your life, you have to raise your self-esteem spiritually. And you have to be able to speak boldly and say, I am God. I am is who you will be. I am is what you will become. And if you think twice about even saying that, then you will never achieve the higher levels of life. You will never achieve the higher levels of wealth. You will never achieve the higher level of prosperity, higher levels of love in your life, because you have to be a God over all of those things, have dominion over all of those things, become who you were created to be. The pyramids that you see in Egypt are not the actual original pyramids. The pyramids that are original are the ones out there in Mexico, Central and South America, and even on this North American continent. They have steps on it. And each step represents another step to the higherness of your mind. And then you get up to the top step, which is the chief cornerstone. Didn't the Bible talk about chief cornerstone? The chief cornerstone, which is the supreme understanding that you are God, and everything that you're seeing, you are creating through your own thoughts. But the reason why the steps are there is because the steps represent every level of process that you must go through, the test that you will be tested with, because you will be tested by your own words. The only thing testing you is you. Nothing out there is testing you. You say you speak something, it comes back to you as a test to see if you really mean what you say. Some of you have said, I want a husband, I want a wife, and then one gets presented to you, then you don't even know what to do with it, or him or her. You don't even know how to appreciate the affection that they're giving you. Oh, you get tested, and guess what? You're gonna, if you're one of those people that go through relationship after relationship and they're failing, that's you failing those tests. Okay, you want a husband. Okay, here's one. But he's got an issue that you, well, let's put it like this. He got something that you think is an issue. Opinionated. Huh? He's a take charge type of guy, which some people would call controlling. Oh, he sent you a woman. Yeah. She seems to be nagging you. But really what she's trying to do is raise you up to being responsible, because you don't take your business right. See, everything's a test. And you're only being tested by your own words. You say you want something, that's what it always says, be careful what you ask for, because you will get it. Your words become flesh. So whatever you're seeing as an issue in a person, is the real issue is not in them. It's in you. What is it, 7:44? Right. So, order of the day is the nationality, right? I'm jumping off the spiritual topic now. Nationality, and that is spiritual, because I read a document that in the very first thing they were talking about the supreme thing that a man has a right to is his own spirituality. They ain't used the word spiritual. They didn't use religion. They said spiritual in this document. Then everything else fell in line. And the judicial system is supposed to support that. That's why I tell y'all, in y'all due processes, always talk about that first. Those who listen get success. Those who don't listen, you might get success. 50-50. It's a crapshoot. 7:45. What's the announcement? I got a couple of announcements I want to make, and then one of the announcements is revocation of election. It's something I've had for a few years now, and I've used it, and it pretty much shut down the IRS, assuming I have an obligation to pay them the money or do a tax return. It's revocation of election. But today I got an email from an old contact, and he's like, "Hey, we've updated the process, and I want to introduce it to you, and I want you to introduce it to your people." And what this does is it shuts down you having responsibility to pay taxes from this. Like if you was to file this form from this time going forward, right? It doesn't stop your obligation from prior. So in order to do that, you have to go to court. And I have that webinar to show you how to go to court. You have to do that to shut down the past. But this time going forward to shut them down, it's called the revocation of election. It's pulling yourself out of the voluntary system of doing your 1040 tax return. And it works because I've done it. You know, I forgot about it because I did it like probably almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And with me doing my that process along with doing the passport and a couple of other things, the POA and all of those things, I haven't gotten another letter from the IRS since. Nothing. Asking me for a dime. And usually I would get one every 6 months, and then I'd do my own process all over again. But it's been a while. So it's been effective. I like to give things time before I put it out there. So that process, I'm going to be posting that on my website. So what it is I know how to do it, but, it's really this other person's process that introduced it to me, and I'm not a person who like to take credit for other people's work. So let him, he's monetized it, he's got a fee for it, and I'll be directing everybody to him, but you'll come through me to get to him. So that'll be up on my website. I'll post that. Premium members, I have to work that out because he still wants a fee for that. So I got to work all that out. But for people who are not my premium members, it's a regular rate. Not sure what that is. We're still working that out. But that'll be on my website in the next week or so. The second thing, y'all really need to support the other shows. We got Bombay on Monday. He's got a lot of experience with court, with some issues that he had. So y'all need to listen. That brother's got a lot of good information to share with you because he's been like me. He's been through it. He's gone through it. And also you have Divine Connection that's on Thursday. They talk about various topics. Support those shows. Show them some love that you appreciate them putting in work. They don't have to do this. Nobody's paying them to do this, to talk to you guys, right? They're not doing it. They don't get paid. They don't get a salary. And we got the homeschooling show, Raising Independent Thinking show. There's, we're getting support, but I think it should be more support. Why? Because do you really want this system to keep teaching your children? If you're not going to do it now, this is at least, listen and prepare for when you can do it. Because I know homeschooling, you can't just jump right into it, right? Because they might have already started school and other issues you might have with another parent that's reluctant, like I had. That's was the issue I had, right? But guess what? That issue has rectified itself, right? Now my daughter went back home. Now she's back to me, living with me permanently now. Let's talk about that. See, and this is something you fellas have to learn. Y'all want things to happen for yourself, but you try to force it. You try to push it. You try to, I'm the man. I want to make these decisions, blah, 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 be this old macho, whatever. And you don't get what you want. I always get what I want. Know why? Because I back off and let the situation play out. And guess what? I get a text message, hey, all right. I'm letting her come live with you. We're good now. Now, it was supposed to happen already this school year. I was supposed to, but then ego jumped in there, and there was some resistance. So instead of me resisting, I accepted it as it was. And then we in November? A couple of months go by, and I get another. Okay, she can come now. And guess who? She actually wanted to come. Lauren said, "I'm going to come stay there." So you have to let things play itself out. Don't be forced, and you got to be almost A yes man. Okay, yes, okay. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking if you're wise enough, if you have the higher consciousness, I'm teaching y'all something now. You know that the situation is going to change because I was being questioned. Oh, what's going to happen now? Asking me all these questions, and I was like, I know, I already knew what was going to happen. All I had to do was let it play out. You understand? During the pandemic, she was here from day one when they let the kids out of school. She was with me all the way up until August. Right now, all of that energy that I was exerting during that time, the teachings that I was showing her, because I was showing her how to do stocks. Got it with the Black Wall Street guy. I forgot his name. I can't think of his name. I always forget names. Took those lessons and other things. So what had to happen was a play out of go back home, see what that's like, and see the difference, see the energy difference. And if you guys will follow that same recipe, just let them see the energy difference. The kids will make the decision for themselves. Children are capable of making their own decisions. We don't have to make all the decisions for our children. We just have to create the environment that we want to promote. So if you create the environment, they're going to want to come back to that. But if you sit up there arguing and going back and forth, they're not going to want that. I didn't have to do all of it. It was done. So all you guys having problems with seeing your children or even having a say in their, educational and other things, just relax. There's nothing. One thing that is consistent in this world is nothing stays the same. Nothing stays the same. Everything changes over time. So accept that fact. A lot of people are fighting against change. And change is one of the most consistent things that the world has to offer. That's why we're not going to be on the bottom anymore. I don't even know why y'all out there, some of these people out here, being happy over Biden or being even upset because guess what? All of the years of us their boot being on our heel, that's being lifted now. Because one thing we have that that people that haven't experienced it, because it's all about experience, is we know how to survive bad times. In the conditions that our people had to live in for all of these years, the ghettos, the proliferation of crack into our neighborhoods, and the proliferation of incarceration rates, unequal punishment that we had to suffer through, unequal job opportunities, unequal home buying opportunities that we've been going through for years. What did I say? What is the one universal law? What you reap, what is it? You shall reap what you sow. And in this country, the white supremacists, the racists, they're about to reap everything. They've been reaping it, but now it's about to be really public. So when this stuff break down and this whole society break down, and it will break down very soon, it is breaking down. I don't know if y'all noticed it. All we got to do is sit down and grab a big tub of popcorn, whatever drink you desire, and sit back and let them destroy themselves. That's it. Back to what I'm saying, all you got to do is just be patient and you don't have to force anything. Higher consciousness, higher thinking, it says, let things be as they are for now. Don't resist. Because what had to happen with me, I had to prepare to be able to accept that invitation of her to come with me presently. I had to prepare for that, and that's prepared for. Got a new, home, for her to live in. Actually, she almost 2 homes, between here and Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So everything's great. The first thing she said to me when she came on Friday, she said, man, and I said, well, we're going to Chapel Hill, tomorrow, which was Saturday. Oh, I get to see the cats because she loves animals. although she's a little allergic, but she loves animals. You see what I'm saying? So it all works out. Everything works out. We don't have to fight. We don't have to resist things. There's no such thing as a fight. It's just a process. And when things are coming our way that we don't like, accept them as they are and recognize your role and how you played in that and why it's like that. And then once you understand the deepness of the situation, then you can navigate. I don't spend a whole lot of time fighting things and trying to make things work. Things just happen for me like they're supposed to, like information, like that video I dropped. I dropped a hell of a video. I'm going to play it after I finish speaking. I'm going to play that after I take calls. If you got calls, press 1, and I'll take the call. If somebody's got their hand up. And after that, I'm going to play that, and that'll be the end of the show. I've been talking almost, 45 minutes now. Been preaching, hurting your ears probably. I keep preaching too much. He just preaching. Listen, I'm trying to program y'all to be successful. I wake up every morning, and a lot of times periodically throughout the day, I say, I am so grateful that I am a millionaire. I am so grateful that I have peace in my life. I am so grateful that I have a great woman in my life. And every man needs a great woman. I don't care what y'all say. You need that. You really do. You need that because that's what's going to bring you balance. You can reach a level of success without a woman, but if you look at the nature of a woman, she's always bringing life into a situation. Right? That's how you got here, right? You got here by way of a woman into a situation. And she does that in all things. So if you have a woman touching whatever you do, she brings life into you and into the things that you do. And this is women, y'all have to recognize that is your power. And use it wisely. Just like you bring life, you can bring death too. So, we got a couple hands up. Let's go. See what's going on. Let's see. Thanks, Linda, for the congratulations. I have my daughter. Let's go to 510993. And turn your radio down because you got an echo.
I got it. What's up, Noble?
Hey, what's going on, God?
It's been a long time. Everything's been going. It's Jael, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Yeah,
I'm doing great too. I'm doing great too.
I'm living in wealth. I'm living prosperity. Love life is great. I can't complain about nothing, man.
No, man, that's a beautiful thing. Man. I haven't called in months. Because I just want to be a student, just listen and let things process, so I can find my way. You know what I'm saying? So, but lately I've been listening to you. I want to thank you and your wife, man. And I thanked you before, but I just want to put it in the atmosphere to other listeners that you're doing a great job. And because you've been talking about the whole Iroquois Nation and all that. I went over not all of it, but I went over enough. Because when you were speaking on it, it was so crystal clear. Not only my ears heard it, my spirit heard it. And
thank you.
You're welcome, sir. And so I told you before, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I got a testimony. I probably bought one. I bought one process from you, as far as the credit card thing, whatever, the CPN. But
the CPN. Okay.
Yeah, I purchased that before, but this right here, I didn't have to purchase anything. I'm not saying it out of disrespect. I'm saying that your information was so crystal clear. My spirit said act upon it, and I did, because I had a warrant for my arrest, and I had a fine for like $1,300. And I said I wasn't paying that. I just wasn't paying it because I'm trying to build my credit, and this debt they put on me, I didn't do that to myself. Y'all gave me that debt. So, but when you start talking about the Iroquois Nation, and I know I had a court date coming, I said, man, I'm gonna have to extend this court date because I may need my brother, the Noble, to help me so I can get past this situation so I can move forward, because psychologically it's holding me back, because I know it's something that needs to be done. You know, you just can't just ignore everything, especially when you talk about a warrant.
Right.
Okay. So
right, definitely.
my court date, yes, sir. My court date was on that Thursday. So on Wednesday, my spirit said, tell the court why you can't come to that court date on the 15th, the next day, tomorrow. You need to write it out. And so I went over all that information you were speaking on the ear coordination. I put it on one paper with a pen and line paper, nothing significant.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote all that stuff I've heard from you, and I read for myself, and I put it in the words. And my spirit said, "Now put your Moorish flag shirt." I'm just going by my spirit. Put my Moorish flag shirt on, and go down to the court and see what they say. I said, "Okay." So I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I think for some reason my conscience didn't even try to sway me, like, don't do that. For some reason my conscience was shut the hell up. So I did it.
Yeah.
So the clerk was getting me pushed back and everything. I just asked him just to read the letter. Why you didn't pay on these fines? I said, so it was a pandemic. Wasn't it on the news that they said we need to be having social distancing, stay at home? I'm trying to, do you know that? So he kept getting me pushback. I said, man, read the letter. So he started reading it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay. So he gave it to a brother to read it because he was a Hispanic dude. So the brother came,
mm-hmm.
and he was getting me pushed back. And I was like, sir, could you just read the letter? He said, sir, I can read. I said, I'm not trying to be facetious. I just want you to read the letter because I don't have to speak if you read the letter. It explains itself.
Mm-hmm.
So he started reading, and he said, you know what? I'll be right back. I'm going to take it to the judge and see what they have to say. So I'm sitting down there for 15 minutes. I said, I know the judge ain't that illiterate. You can read that and understand what I'm talking about. That should be a quick situation, okay? So they both came down to the judge, and they was looking puzzled. I was like, uh-oh. I started laughing. I was like, uh-oh, what's going down? The Hispanic guy who's giving me all the trouble, he was so shocked and said, the judge say, the warrant's been lifted, and you can pay when you get ready. I just got up and slid that chair right back, and I left. Because what the judge basically said, you good. And on the paper it said
right.
warrant cleared. So I got remedy for just listening.
I told y'all, listen, I always give the remedy in what I teach, but if you know, I sometimes I don't be very specific. That's why I just read it. But the reason why I'm not specific is it's all got to do with you being tapped in the spirituality.
For sure.
You'll hear it if you've been following and studying.
Right.
You know, but for the people that have got the ill intent and they're just crooks, they're not going to hear it. They're not going to hear the truth. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I read it like that. Even didn't Christ read that way? So I'm trying to be like that. I'm trying to have the Christ consciousness where I teach in such a way that only the spiritually inclined would do it.
Yes, I got it. So you was crystal clear. I went over it. I was reading stuff that blew my mind. I mean, it's not time to share it now, but it was talking about all that good stuff. And I just want to thank you. I'm walking on water, man.
There you go.
I am walking on water, man.
I'm glad that worked out for you.
Thank you, sir. I'm walking on water.
What you had to do, you had to face that. You couldn't run from it. You had to face it.
No. Yes, sir. I did, and I want to thank you. I faced it with something to face it with.
Right. Right.
It wasn't
just. I can help you with that.
Thank you, and we're gonna do more. I'm gonna set up a consultation. That's what here nor there, but I just want to thank you and your wife so much, your fiance so much, man. There's no words to describe it.
You're welcome, brother.
It is what it is. But we will do business in the future, and I love you. I love you, brother, and thank you so much.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you,
man.
man.
I love the energy, man. That's good, man, that you got that remedy. All right, peace.
Thank you, bro. Peace, bro.
Right. Man, that was good story there. You listened to what I was saying. I told you, y'all going in with the wrong government information. You're going in it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I was just reading something today. Tribal affiliation. Someone who affiliates themselves with a tribe It said that in the document. Oh, well, see, y'all think tribal affiliation means, oh, I got to go get recognized by them tribes. No, you got to say your tribal affiliation. With that being said, I got a lot of people got their hands up like crazy. So,
stay right there. Stay right there. You're listening to Hindsight Radio.
All right, peace. My grandson just come up to me. Oh, is it too late for me to drink something? That means his daddy told him not to drink something. You know. you know. I don't know if you know. My whole home arrangement has changed. You know, I used to have my own. You know, with just me. When my daughter was there, but just her and I. Now it's me, my daughter, my son, and my grandson. So they got me and another generation in here. 2 generations of men in here. Well, he's a young boy, and he is all over the place. He got a lot of energy. And he's very intelligent, but you know, which is a good thing. But anyway, where was I? Now, while I was on the break, I came up with something. I got to read this to you, you know. I got to read it. Because some of y'all are complaining. Even I get caught up complaining. I've done it. I've done it recently. I preach this all the time, but I still complain. I got to catch myself. And it goes in line with what Alan Watts, that's Alan Watts, that recording, was saying about make mistakes. Even if you play the wrong notes, make them. Because they're really not mistakes. They're just a process. You just hit that wrong key so that it didn't work right. Then you go back to, you know, you get into the rhythm and you do it right. This is with your businesses. This is with your relationships. This is with anything in life. It's okay. See, this world, this system has got people programmed so bad that to be embarrassed about doing the wrong thing or doing something that's not consistent with the process, that they, look at, you know, they're just worried about how people are looking at them. Right? Here's a scripture. It says, therefore, it's from Philippians 2, chapter 2, verses 14. Do all things without complaining and disputing. Right? That's even when you don't complain. Don't be upset. Don't dispute about it. You know? It's just part of the process. When you're doing your business and you know, you find something wrong, that's just teaching you how to do it right until you get it right, until you get to that sweet spot where I got it, it's running, you know, where you can know what you're gonna make. I know right now it's a little sketchy. It feels a little, you know, anxious, but the Bible also says, "Do not be anxious about tomorrow, because tomorrow's got anxieties of its own. Just worry about today. Get through the day, right? That you may become blameless and harmless children of God without fault in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation." And that's definitely what we're living in right now. "Among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast the word of life, so that I may rejoice in the day of Christ, that I have not run in vain or labored in vain." What is it saying? Don't complain. Just like with my daughter, whole situation, it was supposed to go down a certain way. It didn't exactly go down that way, and if the whole dispute was about homeschooling, and that's what I wanted to do. Her mother didn't care nothing about it, didn't want to support it. You know, no hit on her. It's just that's not what she didn't have a different understanding than I had, right? So I didn't argue and go back and forth about it. I was a little frustrated about it, you know, but I said, you know. And then at the same time, my daughter was so indoctrinated into the system, she wanted to go to the virtual schooling of the public school. Because she felt like she was going to be with her friends and all that, but it didn't work out that way, right? She wanted that. And I'm still, to be honest with you, I'm still working on that virtual school thing. Because I asked her today, she still wants to do that, but she wants to be here. But over time, she'll see the prison that they got her in. She'll change her mind on that eventually. Probably this whole school year, it'd be, you know, she's in 8th grade, so just let that play itself out. Then in high school, we plan for something else. You know, it's all about patience. Let things be as they are and deal with the things you can deal with or fix or change. Don't get frustrated. Don't complain or dispute. Life is so much more peaceful that way. And, you know, I get constantly, that's why you need a good woman in your life that will be patient enough with you. I get taught that probably every week by Beth. She always, you know, why are you so uptight? What for? And when I'm in my ego, that irritates the hell out of me. Like, what are you talking about? This is. Then when I stop and think, you have to have someone in your life that can balance you out. Because if I had someone that was just as crunk as I was, it would be nuclear holocaust. Team. You see what I'm saying? You have to have that. And I appreciate her for that. Let's go to the next caller. 816-462.
Peace, bro. How's it going?
Peace. I'm doing good. How's it going with you?
I'm great, sir. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you. Good to hear you. What's going on, man? This number looks familiar, but I haven't seen it in a while.
It's Kansas City, Missouri, melanated seeker. I've called and I've sent some emails to you before. It was during the summer, and I've just been kind of busy running around, traveling the country with my wife and my son.
Oh, man, that sounds great. So you were traveling while they were saying people stay home, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I like hearing that. Right.
I wish it was all great and glory like it sounds, but it's okay. It's okay. I can't complain about it too much.
Okay.
But the main thing I'm calling about, brother, is humbly I'm coming to you. There's a few things on your website that I would like to take advantage of. So far as your nationality, doing the nationality, and a few other things, the driver's license, and a few other things that I've seen on there. Real quick, over the past 10 years, I've been dealing with so-called teachers, nationality teachers. There's 3 of them that's real big on the internet right now, and I actually joined a plebiscite of one. Just to be left hanging. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's common. Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money with a couple of these, these so-called gurus, these guys, so-called teachers, and man, I'm just lost. I'm lost. I'm really lost. I mean, I picked up something here, I picked up something there, I picked up something here, but I can't quite get it all together.
Where are you? What have you done so far? Like, what process you done? That could, so I can get a clearer picture of where you are.
To be quite honest with you, sir, I did my nationality paperwork with the group.
And where did you submit that? Where did you submit it? I
submitted it to the Jackson County courthouse down here in Kansas, Missouri. I put it on file. I got some IDs back from this group, and pretty much I'm not able to do anything with it. I can't do anything. I've been trying to reach out to them.
You just filed something. That's all you did. All right.
Yeah, just filed.
I get the picture. All right. I like to teach from a point of, I'm going to read their stuff to tell you what happens. Where nationality need to be fixed, right? Because they got you filing in the county, they got you over here. Pretty soon they'll be having you on the moon, right? Yeah, that's a foreign jurisdiction. They'll be seeing something crazy like that, right? But you got to understand that who you are first. Who are you? What state were you born in? Missouri. So you're Missourian national, right? But not a citizen of the United States, right? So,
correct.
Let me ask you, where have you put on record that you were that? That you were Missourian national. Right. Because that's where you were born in. Now, they want, like, a lot of these people want you to say you're a Moor, you're this and that. But the Moors got to land on some land somewhere, right? What land does the Moor belong to? And if you're going to be a Moor, you can be a Moor Missourian national or American national. But if you're born here in this North American continent, you're an American. Just like a person who's in South or Central America, they're Americans too. But you just happen to be what? A more Missourian national, but not a citizen of the United States. And I'm sure that's not in your paperwork anywhere that they filed, what I just said. Right?
No, because only it sounds familiar. So, it don't sound familiar at all.
Huh?
You know,
no,
it don't sound
of course
familiar
not.
at all.
It don't sound familiar. It sounds foreign because they don't read. They're coming up with presumptions and assumptions and telling you this is what you need to do. Go file it here. Go file it down at the court, right? Now, right. I'm on the page, duties of the Secretary of State. You know the Secretary's job of the state is to handle foreign policy, right?
Correct.
So they go to foreign, but see, education in this system or assumptions on our part has got us believing foreign means some other country outside. Correct. But remember, the states are a country within themselves before they became part of the Confederation, right?
Right.
So Missouri is a foreign country or foreign state. State and country are basically the same word said in different ways, right?
Correct.
To the United States, because the United States is a corporation or a third-party vendor or a third-party contractor that is the trustee to handle things for the Confederation. All the states that contracted in to the Confederation, right? First it was 13, and then eventually all 50 contracted, right? So that's a whole nother. I can go deep on that too. That has something to do with your ancestors. Now let me ask you another question. Do you have any family land out there that you know of? You know, that was like handed down to you throughout the family, and the oldest relatives have rights to it that they can say what to do with it, and then it'll pass on to you, maybe through your mother or your father. Are you familiar with anything of that in your family?
I have family that has, like my grandmother. She has land that is occupied by the government at this time, and she doesn't know how to go about getting it. That's about as far as...
But it's her land. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's actually her parents' land.
It's a parent's land who since passed on, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Right. And your grandmother's still alive, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
Is she? Okay.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. So she's the direct descendant or direct heir to this land that you're speaking of. The reason why your grandmother can't, just a little side note, can't get access to it because she's not calling herself the right thing. She's not claiming who she really is. Claiming to be a Moor is not going to cut it. You understand? So what she has to do is go and find out her mom, through her mom's lineage, who they are. And I could tell you she's one of those indigenous American Indians. The American Indian is not the original title. The only reason why they call you American Indian because there was so many tribes out there, which is literally thousands of them, that they had to come up with a title, and that's what the title is, American Indian. So you got to find out what tribe under that American Indian she was, and then go claim it. And she has to disavow or remove herself from the U.S. citizenship title. Then it will drop. Then she'll receive the benefits. Now, see what happens when the U.S. government take over land, they're supposed to pay all of those people stipends, every so often. Sometimes it's like every quarter, every 6 months, or every year. And the agreement is there. She just haven't attached herself to that agreement. So just on that note. So that goes back to you. Right here, I'm looking at the duties of the Secretary. One of the duties of the Secretary is to grant and issue passports to American citizens and executors to foreign consuls in the United States. It didn't say anything about U.S. citizens. That's the job of the Secretary. And I'm going to pull up a DS-11. Let me do a quick lesson real quick.
Okay.
And I'm basically telling you that let me just read this, and then you'll know where you need to go. Okay, let's go to a DS-11. You can't claim nationality no other way but this way. And then everything else falls up under that. Everything else. If you're not doing this, then you're not really claiming nationality. Because why? In order to get a passport, you got to tell them where you were born and all of that stuff. And your nationality is issued on the passport thing. So this is the only way you can really start the process of nationality. Here it is. In the oath, it says here, I declare on the penalty of perjury all of the following. I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not, since acquiring U.S. citizenship or nationality, performed any of the acts listed under acts and conditions on page 4 of the instruction of this application unless explanatory statements is attached. Now, the reason why the so-called people who know this stuff, they get confused because this is written in total legalese to confuse you. So what I just read here is when you do this passport application, DS-11, is this. You will be looked at as a U.S. citizen or non-citizen national. You don't supply an explanatory statement and follow the instructions on page 4. So in order to claim nationality of who you are, because this is what this oath is saying, what nationality you're claiming. If you don't do those two things, you will automatically be assumed a U.S. citizen. So this DS-11 is basically the nationality claim form. That's what it is. But you have to claim it. You have to say it. It says here, I'm going to read it again. You might not have caught it. I'm going to read it one more time, and I'm going to read it a little slower. It says, I declare under penalty of perjury all of the following. And it says, number 1, I am a citizen or non-citizen national of the United States and have not, since acquiring U.S. citizenship or nationality, performed any of the acts and conditions on page 4 of the instructions of this application. And then in brackets, it says, unless explanatory statements is attached. So what this is saying in legalese is, state your claim here and follow the instructions on page 4. So in any other place, why is this the place to state your claim? Because that's the oath that you're taking. You're taking an oath that everything in this application is true and correct. And then you send your paperwork off, and then they issue your passport as a national. You see what I'm saying? Now, in acts of condition, which is on page 4, it says if any of the below-mentioned acts of conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out. And a supplementary explanatory statement under oath for affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. So it's telling you, you want to be looked at as an American, a true American. Number 1, explanatory statement. Number 2, line out the portion that applies to you, which I'm not going to go into now, what you need to line out. So if you really want to claim nationality, what I'm trying to say is I got 2 things on my website. You can buy the process, do it yourself, send off the thing, and get your passport that way, or you could join my premium membership, which I walk you through the passport process, make sure you get it, and then take you through your trust and make sure that you do your 1041 tax returns correctly so that you can recoup all of these fiat that you've been putting out on. That's just a brief summary. But if you go to my website, it's broken down in detail. Now, I know you've been taken through the ringer by other people, but I get results. I'm not doing this because there's results. There's things that I've done, and I continue to get results. So, just go, take your time. Don't rush into anything. Go look at my website, look at the details, what I'm offering, and all of those things. And if you really want to, now I'm not to say the stuff you have done already, I could probably use that to help, activate it.
Right.
But the thing is, you're following something and it's not activated. It's just sitting there, and then what do you do with it next? And then it's like, I know what you're going through. You calling them, and then they're giving you the runaround. So basically, they just sold you a process. And a lot of these guys are selling other people's process. And the reason why they can't give you complete answers is because they didn't do it themselves, or it's not their process to even explain. I don't operate like that. I don't play those games. Everything I can do, I can completely explain. Just like I broke down where you claim nationality at. And with that, I show you how to correct the name. Go to your proper name, which I just got a court order for that. And I show you how to correct the SS5, correct the driver's license, so that everybody knows who you truly are. You know, what nationality you're claiming properly.
Okay.
You know, the whole idea is to be free from the slavery title of U.S. citizenship, and I think that's what you were trying to do. And
right,
I can definitely guide you in the right direction on that. All right?
Yes, sir. My one thing though, the only question I have.
Go ahead.
Is I was wanting to ask. It was do you have a payment plan? Because I don't want to. I don't want to just do it. I don't want to just do it.
No.
I want to talk to you, and you can walk me through. And I want to learn it. You see what I'm saying? I want to learn it. I don't want to just
go to my website.
Let somebody do it. Okay.
I hear you. No, I walk you through. When one of the things I pride myself on doing, before you do anything, you need to know what you're doing.
Right.
You know, so that if you get asked questions, you can answer them fluently. You won't have trouble. You ain't got to pick up the phone calling me. You know what you're doing. Like in my premium class, listen, y'all going to do this work yourself. You're going to walk through this process. If you make mistakes, that's fine. We gonna work through it together. This way you know what you're doing. Now, once we're done, you don't need me anymore. Now you can pass it on to your children, whoever you want to pass it on to. I'm not one of those guys that try to be super secretive. Oh, don't give my. It's not my process. It really isn't. Because all I'm doing is reading their laws, and then I'm putting their laws into effect to make it work for myself. So it's not my process. I'm just showing you the process. So I'm just a signpost. Yeah, I do. I work out things with people. So you get with me in a private, Akeemel.com, set up a consultation, we'll talk. And then with that consultation, I'll credit it towards whatever we do business with, okay?
That'll work. I appreciate it.
Okay, bro. All right, man. Peace.
Much love and peace to everybody. Y'all stay safe.
You too. Thank you. All right. It's unfortunate that we have people out there, and they look like us, that take advantage like that. And I know people are trying to make some money and make some, bread to feed their families, but we should not be feeding our families off the backs of the ignorance of the people. This is one of the reasons why I ended up by myself. Okay, that's one of the reasons, is I can't affiliate with stuff like that. 253-476.
Yeah, peace to the gods, Akeem. Welcome back.
Hey, what's up? I knew who that was. I had a feeling it was you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. I want to give a testimony, but first, I want to
one of the premium members.
Yeah, one of the premium members. I get so many text messages and emails until I was erasing them off my phone so fast. So if the member that was texting me asking about some herbs that he wanted to find out about, go ahead and text me back again.
Oh, okay.
And I'll get back with you. I'll get back with you and give you whatever you need. Okay, but my testimony is that me and my wife, we went to the court today. We was the last one that was waited on, and the judge, she swore us in.
Of course.
And she asked questions. What is your reason for wanting to have your name changed? And I explained it to her that I'm a spiritual counselor. I'm also an ordained minister. And from the way that our names are styled at the time, we're not in compliance with being children of God and His Son, Jesus Christ. And this is our reasoning for being here today, in order for our name to be placed in a proper status. She dropped her head. She started stamping papers. She said, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Gosh, I just started chilling all over. She said, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Stamped the paperwork and said, go down to the clerk's office and, get as many copies as you need.
Wow. See, that sounds exactly like how mine went. I told y'all, don't go in there talking that other jargon. Just tell them who you are and what you about. That's it. boom, it gets done.
Yeah.
I like hearing that.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, it was great. But what's the difference between exemplified copy, because we're getting 6 of each of the
right, okay.
of the certified
I'm
of the exemplified.
so glad you asked that question. Okay. I called the courthouse to get it because I was told to get an exemplified copy, right? Exemplified copy is where they put a seal on it and not just a stamp, right? Now, I had exemplified copies and didn't know I had it. Now, the funny thing is this town don't even know what exemplified copy is. They call them certified. But exemplified copy is when they put this raised seal on it. And what it does is another officer says this person was authorized to sign it. That's really what it does. But when I talked to them, she was like, I don't even know what exemplified, because it's a small town, so I can understand. And I wasn't arguing. I said, well, she said, no. What I want you to do is use the copies that I gave you, and if they don't work, I'll see what I can do after that. But she said they will work, right? So I think that's just something I remember that was secondhand information to get an exemplified copy. But when I looked up exemplification, it's almost like an authenticated copy of like the birth certificate. Now let me ask you something. Right. Your authenticated copy, did it have, until you started doing passport process and stuff, has it really done anything for you?
No.
No, it hasn't. you just authenticate. Now, I'm not saying not to authenticate. What I'm saying is, whatever works, do it. So if they give you certified copies, don't argue with the people when they don't know what exemplified copy is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Don't go. I'm not telling you, but some people. What it is. Well, Akeem said exemplified. Yeah, if she knows what it is, and she's going to give it to you. Yeah, let her get it. Give it to you. She's giving it. But where I was at, they don't know what it is. But when I looked up the definition of exemplified copy, that's what they gave me.
Right.
But they call it certified copy. Because I have the raised seal on it and their stamp as well. So,
Are you going to be doing a template? Because for people who want to send their name change correction to the Internal Revenue Service Commissioner, because my thoughts were,
the template is not going to come until I get to that. That's another thing that I was going to talk about in the meetings. Well, I can talk about it now. When I was looking up, I'm moving forward with correcting everything, right? So when I looked up the DMV told me, well, their thing said, don't even try to apply for a name change unless you have let the Social Security Administration know first. Right?
Yeah, but
within 48 hours of notice.
If you give the Social Security Administration your new name, they're just going to attach your Social Security number to a new name. You'll be right back where you started, right?
Nope. Remember, they can't do business with the up and lower.
Oh.
They can't do business with that. That's why they convert you. The whole reason why they put you in all caps is because that's a dead entity.
Illegal.
And then they just created a account for it, right? Nah, they can't do business with that. Remember what I told y'all about the passport when they said, that people told you not to put the social on the application, right? How do they know how to fix an account if you don't give them the account number, right?
Exactly.
So
in other words, you're going to recommend that
you're not
go ahead and
notify. In this case, you're not creating another straw man because they can't create. They can't give you that card in. They can't do that. What it does is they're going to update the status of that. Like, okay, this one out of the system. You got to get.
So
you're going to
have
to let all
you do the document.
know. Right. Yeah.
So we need to wait until you do the template, right?
All you got to do is when you submit the name change, also submit your explanatory statements with it, just like you did before.
Okay. Yeah, we could.
You probably might not have gotten to that part yet. Right.
That's what a Social Security office,
right? Nationality, and then you checking off the right boxes. You're not checking off those African and black and white or whatever. Yeah.
No,
I'm not afraid of the. I'm not afraid of the Social Security Administration now that I understand what they're for. Do you understand the Social Security Administration? I was just reading is really designed for the American public.
No, I wasn't
It's not
aware.
designed for the U.S. citizen. That when you read the document, it says it. It says American. Because I read a document today. That it says every American is supposed to have Social Security benefits. It didn't say U.S. citizen. You see, if you read the video, I just put it up and I read it. It didn't say U.S. citizen, and that's a treaty that they signed with the what is the name of that treaty? Hang on, let me pull up the treaty. That it's in that video. It's a treaty. I'm sorry. Let me close that up. I'm trying to find it. The treaty is a treaty they signed with the American states, the OAS.
Yeah, what's the name of the treaty?
So, I had it up, but it's not here now. Go to the video on my website, YouTube. The last one I did, and I'm reading directly from the document. And there's so much remedy in it. Remedy in that one document. It's not even funny. No. You don't? Do you have access to YouTube? On that, actually, I'm gonna go to YouTube right now and put it in the chat. On there, the very last is called the Claim Your Nationality Part 2. I'm reading from the document, and the link is actually. Why am I even tripping? Because all I got to do is go to the YouTube channel and pull the link. Tripping. Give me a second. I'll have it in a second. Tell you.
Claim your nationality. What was the last part?
Claim Your Nationality, Part 2.
Okay, Part 2.
And I'm gonna play the. Actually, when this show is over, I'm gonna play it.
Okay.
Yeah, to close out the show, I'm gonna play that audio.
So, in other words, you think it's okay to go ahead and send our corrected names to the Social Security Administration along with the explanatory statement?
DMV won't correct it. The DMV won't correct it unless they got that notice first.
Great. Okay. All right. On the revocation of election going forward, you said that
I was thinking like you. And I wasn't going to do it. And then I thought about it. I meditated on it, and my spirit said, no, you need to do it, just like you did with the passport. And let me get you the name of the document, so just in case you don't have access to Google, for the sake of the listeners. It's the American Declaration of Rights and Duties of Man, OAS Res. The link, all three links is in there, but where I found it at is one of the places that I always do research is the Avalon Law Project. Right. And it's got it's the charter of the Organization of American States. But I was like, what is this? American states? Are they talking about? But actually, they're talking about all the American states within North America, South America, and Central America. They all signed a treaty or a resolution.
Okay. Definitely.
What is
on the revocation
United
of election?
States is in there. Yeah, go ahead.
On that revocation of election going forward, is that document on your website?
Not yet. I have to put it up there. Within the week, it'll be up there. It's actually
what about
a process.
Webinar
what it is
court?
It's not even it's not a template. What it is it's a process, and the people that I've hooked up with will take you through the process, and it's because it's stuff you got. I've done it already. You got to mail it off to a couple of people, wait till it come back, and from that point going forward, once they receive it, that stops your liability for the income tax.
Yeah, on your regular one, we have your regular one already. The regular revocation of election, we have that already. So
I
we'll
remember
just wait
I sent
until
that to you and told you. You probably don't even have to. You don't have to do it because you already done it. You already done it.
Yeah, I did it, but that never did stop them from keep trying to collect money from you.
They still was. Maybe something was missing. All right. Well, let me get with them to see if something changed because it stopped for me.
Yeah, we'll wait until you get the new one up.
Okay. All right.
What about that webinar for going to court? Is that on your website too?
For the IRS?
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
That's been up
webinar
there.
for going to court. I think it was
4.
for the IRS.
The number 4 one. It's up there. It's there.
It's there for the webinar for going to court.
Yep.
That's for the IRS, right? Number 4.
For the IRS. Yeah.
Okay. All right. My last question is: do you have the nationality paperwork? Say, for instance, I want to go first to court and declare my nationality. Do you have that paperwork for me to be able to file in the court, or is that going to be like I'm gonna have to connect with you?
No, I don't. But why would you? I mean, I don't. No, I don't, because of going to court. Why do you need to go to court to do it, to declare it, or what? When you already did it with the Secretary of State.
Because I thought that's what you had did a long time ago. You went to New York and got your nationality corrected. No. You misunderstood. We did a name change back then and was trying to get the nationality corrected, and they wouldn't do it. Oh, that never happened. I see where you're going with that. In other words, you want us to use the method with the passport. Right. That's all you need. See, when I did that, I didn't know about the passport. I didn't have that information. Okay. You see, that was old. All right. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. All right. I appreciate it. Peace to the gods. Thanks a lot. All right. Peace. Last one. 503-890.
Hey, peace, Hakeem.
Peace. What's going on?
Oh, man, I can't complain. It's been a wonderful day and a beautiful weekend I had. So I'm not complaining. I'm happy. And I want to say that was a very nice YouTube video you did. That, the first thing I listened to this morning, before even any music, man, was I seen that little alert came up. You had a video. So I checked it out. Man, I listened to it twice today. It answered some questions that I had, too. So I really appreciate that, doing that video.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I tell everybody, go listen to that. There's a whole host of remedy in that one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I listened to it while I was on the road today, so I haven't had a chance to pull up the document and look at it and read it yet, but I definitely sure will. You know, and I also want to say, I could tell that by the way you did the delivery in that video and how you're speaking this evening, man, I can tell you're a lot happier from your heart, from inside, man, the way you're speaking and delivering your messages on your various topics, man. Oh, yeah, man. I can hear great, it. Man. Life is great. Yeah. I can't complain. I know it is for you. I can hear it in you, man. Definitely. You know, it's a slight change, and it's good. It's real good, and I noticed it. Appreciate it. And it's motivating for me. All right, thanks. Yeah. Well, that's when you're thinking positive, then you got a good woman in your life. That's what happens. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Good. Bless both of you. Mm-hmm. And I have a quick question about the membership that you have. I remember a few weeks ago you saying you're running out of space or something. That's not an issue now if I were to go join a membership? No, it's not an issue. I still got, for this second class, I have a few more spots left. I had one, and then you know how people say they do stuff and they don't do it. So, yeah, I got a few more spots. I'm eventually going to run about 3 classes at the same time. Now that, you know, I'm just readjusting. So, yes, there is room to get into the second class. Once that shuts down, then I'll open up a third class, but I probably won't start the third class until the beginning of the year. So if you're trying to get in now, the first 2 classes is going to be the first classes they're going to be able to put into play the 1041 process starting January. So, yeah, if you're going to get into that, I would suggest you move. And then on top of that, the trust guy advised me that he's going to be going up on his prices on those trusts. Those trusts cost $1,500 for 3 of them. You cannot get that one of them for that price from a lawyer, and they're good trusts. So, is this a different trust than the one that you have? You talking about the irrevocable trust webinar? Correct. That I did? Yes, it is. It's a different one. Yes. These trusts are specifically designed to work with the 1041 process. the wording, everything. So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are different.
And is there a
different.
certain
But
day
you
of the
actually,
week?
if you did that trust, you could actually give it to my guy, and he could tweak that very trust to make it work. So no trust is a bad trust. You just got to look at it and say, okay, this is what I need to do with this trust to, update it to make it fit what I need it to do. You got to remember, the 1041 is also about separating yourself from the in-leaguers and capturing all of the debt that it incurs and recouping the money to pay off the debt. So you have to have a separation. You got to create layers between you and that entity. So,
got you. Okay.
So, yeah, that's why one of the people misunderstood my premium membership. My premium membership is specifically designed to correct your nationality, right? Through the passport process and correct your driver's license, correcting SS5. That's what that is. That's what you're actually doing. But as a bonus, a free part of it is 1 year premium membership and walking you through the other process with setting up your trust, getting your bonds in place to do the process. So that's what I want people to understand. All of the extras that I give you, which is a lot, that's free. But what you're really purchasing is me helping you correct the nationality. That's what you're purchasing. And as a part of that, I've made arrangements with other people to help you do things where now you can operate in commerce and be prosperous. Don't have any of your bills in your name. All of it's in your trust. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
and is this a recorded class, or is it a certain time or a certain day?
Well, I record every class. Yeah, like I got to send out the recording. We just had the second class had their second meeting Sunday. So I record them, and if you miss them, I send them out. But I don't recommend you miss them because you might have a question that you want to answer. I tell people, try to make all meetings. They're only an hour long, once a month. And guess what? When you join my premium membership, I give some of the products on my site for free because I need you to do those processes to even get through to the level. So, like, for instance, a name change webinar, that comes to you right off the rip for free. Power of attorney template. There's 2 power of attorneys you got to do. One for the process of the 1041, and then there's another 10 POA that I have that powerful that you file with the county. Those all come with it. It's listed in the membership. All of that. There's a lot of stuff. When new information come up, I've shared with them here. This is what you need to do. Like I shared some of the things generally on the air tonight, but when I get with the group, I give the details of what I'm talking about. You see?
Right.
So it is way you're getting a whole lot, for that. And that's 1 year. Now, once you understand the whole recoupment process, you never need me again. Now you can do it every year after year, right? You do it year after year, and now you can do it for your family, friends, whoever you else you want to introduce. I'm not one of those people, oh, man, you can't be giving it to your family. Nah, hey, that's on you. I can't control what people do. I'm not trying to control that much. Yeah, come get this, now you should. Get it out there. Get it to the people that really need it, Like one of the brothers in the class, he's dealing with a foreclosure. And this is going to help him shut all of that down. He's shutting all that down through this process. Yeah. As Jason said, he listened to that YouTube video 4 times today. Yeah. All right, brother. Anything else? You got any other questions?
I will be hopping on that. Yes, I do. Because I was when I started listening, I was listening to you when you was with the other guys, and there was something that was said then. I'm kind of confused now. Is it still is it a conflict of interest to be using your social if you have properly claimed your nationality?
in some ways it is, in some ways it's not, right? Like, for instance, not everybody has the money to not everybody. See, what was taught, let's start from the beginning. What was taught before was using your social, that makes you an elitist. Using your social without properly correcting the nationality is a problem. But once I discovered, here, let me read the SS5 form, what it says.
Okay.
The instructions. See, this comes from when people don't really read, right? So, changing information on your Social Security record. To change information on your Social Security number record, i.e., a name or a citizenship change, there you go. There's your nationality. You must provide documents to prove your identity. You have to, once that changes, you got to let them know. Hey, this has been changed. I'm no longer a U.S. citizen. Here I am. This is who I am. And the thing is vice versa. So people who come into this country, they get a TIN. That's what they call them, a ITIN. They're not socials, right? But once they become a U.S. citizen, they're supposed to let the Social Security Administration know that they're U.S. citizens so that they change the number from an ITIN to a social. So it also works in reverse.
Process, from
right, it just works in reverse.
Okay.
Right. Now, what really got me thinking, I got into a little debate with a guy on Facebook who had said he had went to the Social Security Administration, gave him all his paperwork, and he checked off American Indian, right? And the lady specifically told him, when he did his passport, and the lady said, well, go down to the Social Security Administration and let them know that you are this so they can correct that. And I thought he was wrong. And the reason why I thought he was wrong because I was listening to who I was working with at the time. I said, I was following that, but I didn't have the research to back up that assumption. But brother came back to me. He said, listen, I went up there, I did this, and this is what happened. All these things changed. I stopped getting, like right now, like all of the mail I used to get, just regular mail I used to get, I don't get it anymore. Even some of the advertisement stuff. I haven't had an IRS letter in I don't know how long. You see what I'm saying? Just from doing a couple of things, POA, doing that thing. Oh, it's really pulled me out. With the name change, that's another game changer. What I'm saying is, it's an account. It's a record. So you have to correct the record. So if you just leave the record like that, they're gonna assume it's still the same. It doesn't pull you back into their jurisdiction. It's all about how you filling out paperwork and what you tell them. Same thing with the driver's license. You really don't technically unless you fill out that paperwork and say you're a U.S. citizen and all that. Now you under that U.S. citizen contract. See, I have my explanatory statements recorded with the DMV. It's there, saying who I am. Signed, and right next to it, without prejudice, all rights reserved. No problem. And I can rest assured that they looked up my record before they gave me that name change. You see?
Right.
So.
Okay.
That's it. The long and short
thank
of it.
you. I appreciate
all right,
it very
brother.
much.
All right, peace.
All right, bro. Peace to you.
All right. Someone. Well, let me see what the chat says. If I reopen child support case dismissed due to lack of personal jurisdiction, attorney replies, then I reply with intrinsic respect. Since then, there's been no response from the attorney, and the judge rescheduled the next hearing for January. Should I file a motion for summary judgment ASAP? Yeah, if he hasn't replied within the amount of time that he's supposed to, you can do that. Yes. That's a yes. All right, with that being said, that's the end of the show. And I'm going to leave y'all with this video I said I would play. You can watch it on YouTube, but just to run some time out. And before that, everybody, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth, extreme health to all.